The smell of bleach burned Zara's nose as she scrubbed the pack clinic floors for the third time that day. Dr. Winters had insisted they needed to be sanitized again before the evening shift. But Zara knew the real reason her scent bothered him. It bothered everyone. Had her entire life. Wrong, that's what they called it. Zara's scent was wrong. Not bad, exactly. Not rotten or diseased. Just wrong. Off. Like something that didn't quite fit with normal wolf scent profiles. Wolves were supposed to smell like earth and pine and their individual variations. Zara smelled like, well, even she couldn't describe it. Something floral but sharp, sweet but with an edge, different. And in pack society, different meant defective. She'd been relegated to the lowest positions since she was old enough to work. Cleaning, laundry, jobs where she was alone and no one had to smell her. She lived in the maintenance wing, far from the main pack house, isolated because her wrong scent made other wolves uncomfortable. 25 years. 25 years of being told something fundamental about her was broken. Zara was dumping the cleaning water when she heard shouting from the clinic waiting room. She peered around the corner and saw Alpha Garrett arguing with a stranger, a man in expensive clothes who radiated power and authority. "I've told you 3 times, Garrett's voice was strained. "We don't have any wolves with unusual bloodlines here. This is a standard pack. Nothing special, then why did my tracking spell lead me here?" The stranger's voice was smooth, dangerous. "I've been searching for 7 years. The spell doesn't lie. There's an ancestral bloodline wolf in this territory, and I will find them." Ancestral bloodline. Zara had heard the term before but didn't know what it meant. She watched as the stranger, tall, dark-haired, with eyes that seemed to see everything, scanned the clinic. His gaze passed over her, then snapped back, locked on. His nostrils flared, his eyes widened, and then he smiled like a wolf who'd just found prey. "Her," he said simply. "The girl hiding behind the corner. That's an ancestral scent." Alpha Garrett spun to see Zara. His face went through several expressions: shock, fear, calculation. "Her? That's impossible. Zara's scent is defective." "Wrong. Everyone knows it." "Wrong." The stranger laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. "You've had an ancestral bloodline wolf in your pack for years and you thought her scent was wrong?" He turned back to Garrett. "Either you are the most ignorant alpha I've ever met, or you've been deliberately hiding her. Which is it?" "I don't know what you're talking about. Ancestral bloodlines are extinct." "No, they're rare. And valuable. And this girl," he gestured to Zara, "is worth more than your entire pack combined. If she's unmated, unclaimed, untrained." The stranger's smile widened. "She's worth a fortune to the right buyer." Zara felt ice flood her veins. Worth a fortune. To the right buyer. Like she was property to be sold. "Now wait a minute," Garrett started. "Zara is a member of my pack. You can't just..." "Actually, I can. Ancestral bloodlines fall under ancient law. They supersede pack authority. If she's an ancestral and you've been mistreating her and based on those cleaning supplies I'd say you have been, she can be removed from your pack and placed somewhere appropriate." The stranger moved closer to Zara, still keeping a careful distance. "My name is Lord Dante Ashenfell. I represent the Bloodline Preservation Council. We've been searching for surviving ancestral wolves for decades. You, my dear, are an incredibly rare find." "I'm not rare. I'm defective." Zara's voice came out small. "My scent is wrong. Everyone says so. Everyone is an idiot." Dante's voice was blunt. "Your scent is ancestral. It's the scent of the original wolf bloodlines from before the Great Division 3,000 years ago. It's the rarest, most valuable bloodline in existence. And anyone who told you it was wrong was either ignorant or deliberately trying to devalue you." Zara looked at Alpha Garrett. He wouldn't meet her eyes. "You knew. You knew my scent wasn't actually wrong, didn't you?" "I suspected." Garrett's voice was tight. "My grandmother once told stories about ancestral bloodlines, how they smelled different, how they were incredibly powerful. When you were born and your scent was unusual, I thought maybe, but ancestral bloodlines were supposed to be extinct. I thought I was wrong, so you made me a servant." made me clean floors and stay isolated, made me believe something was fundamentally broken about me. Zara felt anger building for the first time in her life. For 25 years, if I'd acknowledged what you might be, other packs would have come for you. The council would have taken you. You would have been. Garrett stopped. Been what? Dante's voice was sharp. Educated? Trained? Valued appropriately? Given the resources her bloodline deserves? Yes, she would have been all of those things. Instead of being treated like defective property, she was safe here. She was isolated and made to believe she was broken. That's not safety. That's abuse. Dante turned to Zara. I can offer you a choice. Stay here with a pack that's been lying to you for 25 years. Or come with me. Be tested to confirm your bloodline. If you are ancestral, and I'm absolutely certain you are, you'll be offered training, resources, and placement in a pack that actually values rare bloodlines. And if I come with you, what happens to me? You'll be protected. Ancestral bloodlines are valuable, yes, but the council's job is to preserve and protect them, not exploit them. You'll be given options, education, training in abilities you probably don't even know you have, and choices about your future that no one can make for you. Zara looked between Dante and Garrett, the stranger offering freedom, the alpha who'd been lying to her for 25 years. I'll come with you, she said quietly. I want to know the truth, even if it's complicated. Zara, don't be hasty, Garrett started. I've spent 25 years being hasty to agree with everyone who told me I was wrong. I'm done with that. Zara straightened her spine. I'm going with Lord Ashenfell, and if you try to stop me, we'll see if pack authority really does supersede ancient law. Dante's smile was approving. Excellent decision. Get whatever personal belongings you have. We leave in 20 minutes. Zara had very few belongings. A handful of clothes, a few books. Nothing sentimental because no one had given her anything to be sentimental about. She packed quickly and met Dante in the clinic parking lot where a luxury vehicle waited. That's it. Dante looked at her small bag. That's everything you own? Servants don't accumulate much. You're not a servant. You're ancestral bloodline. Possibly the rarest wolf alive. Dante opened the car door for her. That's about to change dramatically. The drive to the Bloodline Preservation Council headquarters took 4 hours. Dante spent the time explaining things Zara had never been taught. 3,000 years ago, there was one wolf bloodline, the ancestral line. All wolves came from it. We were incredibly powerful, able to track scents over hundreds of miles, heal from almost any injury, live for centuries. But we were also few in number. Breeding was difficult. Conception rates were low. What happened? The Great Division. Some wolves decided that if we bred with other shifter species, bears, cats, ravens, we might increase our numbers. Others felt that diluting the bloodline was sacrilege. It led to civil war. The purists lost. The bloodline was intentionally diluted with other shifter DNA to increase fertility and population. Zara absorbed this. So modern wolves are what? Mixed species? Diluted ancestral line with various shifter DNA. It worked. Fertility increased. Population exploded. Within a few generations, we had thousands of wolves instead of hundreds. But we lost something. The ancestral abilities, the longevity, the power. Dante glanced at her. Except in rare cases where the ancestral genes reassert themselves. Throwbacks. Wolves born with the original bloodline despite having diluted parents, like you, and were valuable because ancestral wolves can do things modern wolves can't. Your tracking abilities are probably extraordinary even untrained. Your healing is faster. Your strength is greater. Your lifespan could be 5 times longer than a normal wolf. And your fertility, he paused. Ancestral wolves who mate with other ancestral wolves have extremely high conception rates. In a world where most wolves struggle to have even one pup, that's incredibly valuable, so people would want to breed me. Zara's voice went flat. Like livestock, some people, yes. That's why the council exists. To protect ancestral wolves from being exploited. To make sure they have autonomy over their own bodies and futures. Dante's voice was firm. No one will force you to do anything. I promise you that. Zara wanted to believe him, but 25 years of being lied to made trust difficult. The council headquarters was stunning. A massive estate built into mountainside, with architecture that looked ancient and modern simultaneously. Wolves moved through corridors with purpose, all of them wearing formal attire that spoke of wealth and status. Zara, in her worn servant's clothes, felt completely out of place. Don't worry about appearances, Dante said, reading her discomfort. We'll get you proper clothing. For now, let's confirm your bloodline with genetic testing. The testing took 2 hours. Blood samples, scent analysis, genetic sequencing. Dr. Sienna Chen, the council's chief geneticist, worked with meticulous care. The results will take about a day to process fully, she explained. But I can tell you right now from the preliminary scent analysis you're definitely ancestral. Pure strain, from what I can tell. She stopped, her expression odd. That's extraordinary. We've only identified 7 pure ancestral wolves in the last 50 years. Most are partial expressions or diluted. What does pure strain mean? It means both your parents carried the ancestral genes. It means your abilities will be fully expressed. It means you're not just rare, you're potentially the rarest bloodline type alive. Dr. Chen smiled. Congratulations. You're a genetic miracle, a miracle. Zara had spent 25 years being told she was defective. Now she was a miracle. It felt surreal. Dante showed her to a suite that was bigger than the entire maintenance wing where she'd lived. These will be your quarters while you're here. We'll start training tomorrow, teaching you to use abilities you probably don't even know you have. For tonight, rest, process, and try not to be too overwhelmed. Zara sat on the edge of a bed that was obscenely comfortable and tried not to cry. Everything she'd believed about herself was wrong. She wasn't defective. She was rare. Her scent wasn't broken. It was ancient and valuable. And instead of being worth nothing, she was apparently worth a fortune. She didn't know how to process any of it. A soft knock interrupted her spiral. Come in. A woman entered, young, maybe 30, with silver hair and eyes that glowed faintly even in human form. Hi, I'm Luna. Dante asked me to check on you. Make sure you're settling in okay. I don't know if settling in is the right phrase. Zara gestured vaguely at the luxurious room. This is a lot, I know. I went through something similar 8 years ago. Found out I was ancestral after spending my whole life thinking I was a weak omega. Luna sat in the chair across from the bed. It's a lot to process. The shift in identity. The realization that people lied to you. The sudden value placed on something you can't control. How did you handle it? Poorly at first, then better. Then I got angry. Then I got educated. Then I got powerful. Luna's smile was fierce. And now I'm one of the council's senior trainers, teaching other ancestral wolves how to use their gifts, helping them transition from whatever lies they were told to the truth of what they are. You're going to train me? If you want. Training is optional. Everything here is optional. You have complete autonomy over your own life. That's the whole point of the council. Luna leaned forward. But I'll tell you from experience, learning what you can actually do, learning that your wrong scent comes with incredible abilities, that's empowering, that's healing, that's worth every difficult moment of transition. What can I do? What abilities do ancestral wolves have? Depends on the individual, but generally enhanced tracking, sometimes over hundreds of miles, accelerated healing, to the point where you can recover from near-fatal injuries in days, increased strength, especially in wolf form, longevity like Dante mentioned, and sometimes Luna's eyes glowed brighter, special abilities, unique powers that manifest differently in each ancestral. Mine is empathy. I can sense and sometimes influence emotions. Other ancestral wolves I've known could manipulate shadows, communicate telepathically over vast distances, or even glimpse possible futures. That sounds like magic, not shifting. The original wolf bloodline was magic. We've just forgotten that because dilution stripped most of it away. But in pure ancestral wolves like you and me, The magic comes back, Luna stood. Get some rest tonight. Tomorrow we start discovering what you can do, and I promise you it's going to be amazing. After Luna left, Zara stood in front of the mirror in her new bathroom, a bathroom with actual hot water and soap that didn't smell like industrial cleaner, and really looked at herself for the first time in years. Pale blonde hair that she'd always kept short because long hair was impractical for servants. Silver blue eyes that she'd inherited from parents she'd never known. Scars on her hands from years of harsh cleaning chemicals. And underneath it all, a scent that she'd been taught was wrong but was actually ancient and powerful and rare. She was 25 years old. She'd spent every one of those years believing she was defective. And in one afternoon, everything had changed. Zara didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so she did both. The training started at dawn. Luna met Zara in a private gym that looked like it had been designed specifically for wolves. Reinforced walls, padded floors, equipment that could withstand shifter strength. First lesson, Luna said. Shift for me. Let me see your wolf. Zara hesitated. My wolf she's never been very strong. Smaller than normal. That's part of why everyone thought something was wrong. Shift anyway. Let me see. Zara closed her eyes and reached for her wolf. The shift came easily, it always had, despite everything else. She felt her bones reshape, her muscles change, her senses sharpen. When she opened her eyes, she was standing on four legs. Luna stared at her. Zara, look at yourself. Zara padded to the mirrored wall and saw her reflection. Her wolf was not small, not weak, not defective. She was larger than normal wolves, with a coat that seemed to shimmer between silver and pale gold depending on the light. Her eyes glowed bright silver blue, and when she moved, there was power in every step that she'd never noticed before. You've been suppressing yourself, Luna said quietly, probably unconsciously. You were told your wolf was small and weak, so you made her small and weak to match expectations. But this, she gestured to Zara's reflection, this is what you actually are. You're magnificent. Zara shifted back, her hands shaking. I didn't know. I thought this was all in my head, that I was imagining being more than I was. You weren't imagining anything. You were just finally seeing truth instead of lies. Luna moved to stand beside her. Now, let's see what else you can do. Over the next 3 weeks, Zara discovered abilities she'd never known existed. Her sense of smell was so acute she could track a wolf's trail from 3 days ago across miles of territory. Her healing was fast enough that injuries that should have taken weeks to recover from healed in days. Her strength in wolf form was extraordinary. She could take down opponents twice her size in sparring matches. And then there was her special ability, the one that manifested in the 3rd week of training. She was working with Luna on tracking exercises when it happened. Luna had hidden somewhere in the vast estate, and Zara was supposed to find her using scent alone. But as Zara focused, trying to isolate Luna's scent from hundreds of others, something clicked in her mind. Suddenly she could see scent trails, not metaphorically, actually see them. Glowing lines of color that corresponded to different wolves. Luna's trail, a bright silver thread that wound through hallways and upstairs. Other wolves appeared as different colored threads. The entire estate was a tapestry of scent trails rendered visible. Zara followed Luna's thread directly to where she was hiding, a maintenance closet on the 3rd floor that should have taken hours to search systematically. How did you find me so fast? Luna demanded. I saw your trail. Like actually saw it. A silver line leading right to you. Zara's voice was odd. Is that normal? For ancestral wolves? Sometimes. It's rare even among us, but not unheard of. Congratulations, you're a Scent Seer. You can visualize scent as a physical phenomenon. Luna looked delighted. Do you have any idea how valuable that ability is? For tracking, for hunting, for finding missing wolves. You're going to be incredible. By the end of the 1st month, Zara had transformed, not just in abilities, but in confidence. She carried herself differently, spoke with authority she'd never had, stopped apologizing for existing, and her scent, her beautiful, ancient, ancestral scent no longer felt wrong. It felt right. It felt like home. Dante found her in the gardens one evening, watching the sunset. "How are you adjusting?" "Better than I expected. Worse in some ways." Zara turned to face him. "I keep thinking about the 25 years I lost. The life I could have had if someone had just told me the truth." "I know. That anger is valid. That grief is real." Dante sat on the bench beside her. "But Zara, you can't get those years back. You can only decide what to do with the years ahead. The genetic testing came back fully confirmed, right?" "I'm definitely pure ancestral." "Absolutely confirmed. Possibly the purest strain we've documented in 70 years. Your Dante paused. "You're incredibly rare, which means you need to make some decisions about your future." "What kind of decisions?" "The council can place you in any pack you choose. We have connections with dozens of high-ranking packs who would be honored to have an ancestral wolf. Or you could stay here, work with the council, help train other ancestral wolves as they're discovered. Or you could do something else entirely. The world is open to you now in ways it never was before." Zara had been thinking about this for weeks. "What if I don't want to join a pack? What if I want to, I don't know. Exist independently for a while. Figure out who I am without pack politics or expectations or anyone telling me what I should do?" "Then you do that. The council will support you financially until you're established, help you set up wherever you want to live, make sure you're safe." Dante's voice was sincere. "You have options, Zara. Real options. Take your time deciding." "There's something else I want to know." Zara met his eyes directly. "You said ancestral wolves are worth a fortune. What did you mean? Worth a fortune to who?" Dante's expression darkened. "There's a black market for rare bloodlines. Wolves who would pay enormous amounts to." He stopped. "To control an ancestral wolf. To force breeding. To harvest genetic material. To exploit abilities like yours for profit. So I'm in danger, potentially. That's why we're careful about who knows you exist. Why we haven't made a public announcement about finding you. Why I'm being paranoid about your security." Dante looked troubled. "There are people who would see you as a commodity instead of a person. We're doing everything we can to prevent that, by hiding me again. Just like Alpha Garrett did. No, by being strategic about who gets information until you're trained and strong enough to defend yourself." Dante's voice was firm. "You're not being hidden. You're being protected." "There's a difference." Zara wanted to believe that. But after 25 years of being hidden for her own good, the distinction felt thin. 2 months after arriving at the council, Zara met the other ancestral wolves currently in residence. There were 3: Luna, who she already knew; Marcus, a gruff warrior in his 50s who'd been discovered 10 years ago; and Sophia, a quiet teenager who'd only recently learned her bloodline. "Welcome to the rarest wolf club in existence," Marcus said with dark humor. "Population, 8 confirmed worldwide. 7 alive, 1 deceased." "Lucky us." "Don't be morbid," Luna chided. "Zara, Marcus likes to pretend he's cynical, but he's actually a marshmallow. Ignore him." "I'm cynical because I spent 40 years being told I was a weak beta before someone finally tested my bloodline," Marcus retorted. 40 years of believing I'd failed to live up to my potential when actually I was living up to completely different potential that no one recognized." "We've all got trauma from being misidentified," Sophia said quietly. "That's kind of our thing. Collective trauma, bonding over being told we were wrong when we were actually rare." Zara felt something settle in her chest. These wolves understood. They'd been through variations of what she'd experienced. They knew what it felt like to have your identity rewritten overnight. "Is it hard?" she asked. "Living with knowing you're worth so much to the wrong people?" "Every damn day," Marcus said bluntly. "I've had 3 kidnapping attempts in 10 years. Sophia's had 2 in 6 months. Luna's had more than she'll admit. Being ancestral makes you valuable, and valuable things attract thieves." "Marcus," Luna's voice held warning. "She should know the reality. Should know that being rare isn't all power and abilities and feeling special. It's also being looked at like a prize. Like something to be owned." Marcus's expression was hard. The council protects us as best they can, but we have to stay vigilant. Okay, we're done with the doom and gloom, Luna announced. Zara, the point is yes, there are risks, but there are also opportunities. You're powerful. You're rare. You have abilities most wolves can't imagine. Don't let fear of what could happen stop you from living. That night, Zara dreamed of being hunted, of running through forests while wolves chased her, not seeing her as a person but as a thing to be captured. She woke gasping, her wolf close to the surface, ready to fight or flee. A soft knock at her door. Zara? It's Dante. I heard you cry out. Are you okay? She opened the door. Dante stood there in casual clothes, his expression concerned. Nightmare, yeah, about being hunted, captured, valued for what I am instead of who I am. Zara wrapped her arms around herself. Marcus's warnings got to me. Marcus is protective. He expresses it through brutal honesty. Dante moved into the room carefully, giving her space. But he's not wrong. There are dangers. I won't lie to you about that. But Zara, you're not helpless. You're trained now. You know what you can do. And you have people who will fight to keep you safe. Why do you care so much? I'm just another rare bloodline to document and preserve. You're not just anything. Dante's voice was fierce. You're a person who was lied to and mistreated and made to believe she was broken. You deserve better. You deserve support and resources and people who see you as more than your DNA. Is that what you see? More than my DNA? I see a woman who's incredibly strong, who spent 25 years being told she was wrong and never let it make her cruel, who discovered her entire identity was a lie and chose to move forward instead of breaking down, who's brave enough to acknowledge fear instead of pretending it doesn't exist. Dante's eyes were intense. I see someone extraordinary, and it has nothing to do with being ancestral. Something in Zara's chest loosened. Thank you for seeing me. Not just what I am, but who I am, always. Dante stood to leave. Try to get some rest. And Zara, if you have more nightmares, don't hesitate to call. You're not alone in this. After he left, Zara lay awake thinking about the way Dante looked at her. Like she mattered. Like she was more than her bloodline. Like she was someone worth caring about. It was a dangerous thought, but also a hopeful one. 3 months after her arrival, everything changed. Zara was in the gardens practicing her Scent Seer abilities, tracking small animals through the underbrush, getting better at distinguishing individual scent threads when she felt it. A wrongness in the air. Scent trails that didn't belong. Wolves approaching who hadn't been cleared by security. She ran for the main building, her wolf surging close to the surface. Dante, Luna, we have intruders. The alarm was already sounding. Dante appeared with a team of security wolves, all armed and ready. How many? At least 6, coming from the north perimeter. They're trying to mask their scents, but I can see the trails. Zara's Scent Seer ability kicked into overdrive, showing her exactly where each intruder was. 2 are circling around to the east entrance, 3 more moving toward the residential wing, 1 staying back, probably the leader. Can you track them for us? Guide the security team. Dante's voice was urgent. Yes, but Zara stopped. They're here for me, aren't they? They're here for an ancestral wolf, probably. Which means you need to be in the safe room. No, Zara's voice was firm. I'm not hiding. I'm trained. I'm powerful. And I have the only ability that can track them through whatever scent masking they're using. You need me. Dante looked torn. Then he nodded. Stay close to me. And if I tell you to run, you run. Deal? Deal. The fight was brutal. The intruders were professionals, well-trained, well-armed, clearly hired specifically to kidnap an ancestral wolf. They'd done their research, knew the compound layout, had plans for every contingency. Except they hadn't planned on Zara's Scent Seer ability. She could see them coming before they arrived, could track their movements through walls, could tell Dante's security team exactly where to position themselves for ambushes. What should have been a successful infiltration became a complete failure. Within 20 minutes, all 6 intruders were captured or dead. The leader, the one who'd stayed back, tried to flee. Zara tracked him through half a mile of forest, her wolf form covering ground impossibly fast, following his scent trail like a glowing thread only she could see. She cornered him against a cliff edge. He shifted, trying to fight. She was faster, stronger, better. When Dante and the security team found her, she was standing in human form over the unconscious intruder, her eyes still glowing silver blue with power. "I told you to stay close to me," Dante said, but his voice held admiration instead of anger. "You needed someone to catch the leader. I caught him." Zara looked down at the wolf who'd tried to kidnap her. "Who sent you?" The intruder laughed bitterly. "Like I tell you, but you're worth 3 million to the right buyer. This won't be the last attempt. You're too valuable, 3 million. Zara felt sick. "I'm not a thing to be bought. Tell that to the market." The intruder spat blood. "There are dozens of groups who want ancestral wolves. For breeding, for abilities, for genetic material. You just made yourself a bigger target by fighting back. They'll know you're trained now. They'll send better people next time." Dante's hand on Zara's shoulder was gentle. "Take him to holding. We'll get everything he knows." "Zara," he turned her to face him. "You were incredible. You saved lives today. But he's right. This won't be the last attempt." "I know." Zara's voice was tired. "I'm worth a fortune. I'm a target. I'm going to spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder because of something I can't control, not alone. You'll have protection, support, people who care about you beyond your bloodline." Dante's eyes were intense. "Me included." "Why?" The question came out raw. "Why do you care so much about one ancestral wolf?" "Because you're not just one ancestral wolf to me anymore." Dante's voice dropped. "You're Zara. You're the woman who makes terrible jokes when she's nervous, who's been learning to cook despite burning everything for the first 2 weeks, who helps Sophia with her confidence, who challenges me when I'm being overprotective, who's brave and strong and absolutely extraordinary." He stopped. "And I'm falling in love with you." Zara's breath caught. "You can't. This is a terrible idea. I'm a target. I'm worth millions to the wrong people. Anyone close to me is in danger. I know. And I don't care. I've been trying to fight it for months, trying to tell myself I'm just doing my job, protecting a rare bloodline, staying professional." Dante's expression was raw. "But I'm lying to myself. I love you, not your bloodline, not your abilities, not your value to anyone else. Just you." "Dante, you don't have to say anything back. You don't have to feel the same way. I just needed you to know. Needed to be honest instead of hiding." He managed to smile. "No pressure. No expectations. Just truth." Zara stared at this man who'd found her, saved her from a life of lies, helped her discover her true self, who'd been patient and supportive and honest, who looked at her like she mattered beyond her DNA. "I think I'm falling in love with you too," she said quietly. "And you're right. It's a terrible idea. You're in danger just being associated with me. Anyone I care about becomes a target, then we're targets together. I can handle danger. What I can't handle is pretending I don't care about you." Dante moved closer. "Zara, give me a chance. Give us a chance. Let me be there for you, not as a council representative, but as someone who loves you." Zara felt her wolf surge with recognition. Not a mate bond, not yet, but the potential for one. The certainty that this man, this connection, was worth the risk. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, let's try. Let's see where this goes." When Dante kissed her, Zara felt something shift. Not just in her heart, but in her understanding of her own value. She was rare. She was worth a fortune to the wrong people, but she was worth everything to the right person. And maybe that was what mattered most. 6 months after the attack, Zara stood in the council's main conference room facing 5 high-ranking alphas from different territories. They'd come with offers, positions in their packs, resources, protection. All of them wanted to claim the rare ancestral wolf. All of them were about to be disappointed. "Thank you for your offers," Zara said formally. "I appreciate the interest and the resources you've outlined, but I'm not interested in joining any of your packs. You need pack affiliation for protection. one alpha argued. Lone wolves don't survive long, especially not ones as valuable as you. I'm not going to be a lone wolf. I'm going to be something else. Zara looked at Dante, who stood beside her as moral support. I'm joining the Bloodline Preservation Council permanently. I'll be helping to find, train, and protect other ancestral wolves as they're discovered. I'll be using my Scent Seer ability to track lineages. And I'll be building a life that's mine, not defined by pack politics or what I'm worth to anyone else. You're wasting your potential, another alpha started. No, I'm using my potential exactly how I choose. That's the point. Zara's voice was firm. I spent 25 years having other people decide my value, decide my place, decide what I should do with my life. I'm done with that. I'm choosing for myself now. After the alphas left, some angry, some understanding, Dante wrapped his arms around her. You were amazing. I was terrified, but I think I hit it well. Zara leaned into him. Is this crazy? Choosing to stay with the council instead of joining a powerful pack? It's the sanest decision you could make. You're choosing autonomy, purpose, a life built on your own terms. Dante pressed a kiss to her hair. And you're choosing to stay near me, which I'm selfishly thrilled about. About that, Zara pulled back to look at him. The mate bond. We've been dancing around it for months. My wolf recognizes you as hers. Does your wolf recognize you as mine? Absolutely. Has since the day I first caught your scent. Dante smiled. I've been waiting for you to be ready. Waiting for you to be sure this is what you want and not just a response to me being there when you needed someone. I'm sure. I've been sure for weeks. I love you. Not because you saved me or protected me or gave me resources. Because you see me. All of me. And you love me anyway. I love you because of all of you. Not in spite of anything. Dante cupped her face gently. So, do you want to complete the mate bond? Make this official? Bind ourselves together? Yes, but Zara stopped. I need to do something first. I need to go back to my old pack. Face Alpha Garrett. Show him what I became. Close that chapter properly before I start the next one. Then we'll go together. And you can show him exactly what his lies try to suppress. The return to Crescent Moon Pack happened 2 weeks later. Zara walked into the pack house she'd cleaned for years, but this time she walked in with her head high. Dante at her side, power radiating from her in waves. Alpha Garrett was in his office. He stood when he saw her, his expression complex. Zara, I heard you'd left. Joined the Bloodline Council, not just joined. I'm a permanent member now, training other ancestral wolves, using my abilities to help preserve rare bloodlines. Zara's voice was steady. I came back to tell you face to face what your lies cost me. 25 years of believing I was defective. 25 years of isolation. 25 years of being made to feel wrong when I was actually extraordinary. I was trying to protect you, you were trying to control me. There's a difference. Zara moved closer. If you'd told me the truth, I could have been trained young, could have learned to use my abilities safely, could have been protected properly instead of just hidden. Your choices weren't about my safety. They were about your fear and ignorance. Garrett had no response. But I didn't come here just to condemn you. I came here to forgive you, not because you deserve it, because I deserve to let go of the anger. Zara's voice softened. You made terrible choices, but they led me to discover who I really am. Led me to the council. Led me to Dante. Led me to a life I actually want instead of one I'm just enduring. I'm sorry. Garrett's voice was rough. For lying. For making you believe you were broken. For wasting years you can't get back. You deserved so much better. I did. But I'm getting better now. Zara turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Garrett, if you ever find another wolf with an unusual scent, tell them the truth. Don't make them spend decades believing they're wrong. They deserve better than I got. I will. I promise. Zara left the pack house and didn't look back. That chapter was closed. The next one was just beginning. 1 year after discovering her true bloodline, Zara stood in the council's ceremonial chamber with Dante beside her. Luna and Marcus and Sophia watched from the audience, along with dozens of other wolves who'd become her found family.
Do you, Zara, accept Dante as your mate?
The officiant asked.
I do. Do you, Dante, accept Zara as your mate?
I do, absolutely. When Dante bit down and the mate mark appeared on Zara's neck, when the bond snapped into place fully and completely, Zara felt whole in a way she'd never experienced, connected, valued, loved for exactly who she was. For 25 years, she said to the assembled witnesses, I believed my scent was wrong. I believed I was defective. I believed I should be grateful for scraps because I wasn't worth more. She looked at Dante. Then I learned the truth. My scent was rare. I was valuable. I was worth everything to the right person. But more than that, she continued, I learned that my value isn't in my bloodline or my abilities or what I'm worth to anyone else. My value is in who I am, what I choose, how I love, and I choose this. I choose Dante. I choose the council. I choose a life where I define myself instead of letting others define me. The gathered wolves howled. Zara felt the sound resonate through her chest, through her mate bond, through the pack connections she'd built with other ancestral wolves. She'd been told she was wrong. She'd learned she was rare. And in the process, she discovered she was exactly who she was meant to be. Not because of her bloodline, because of her choices. And that was worth more than any fortune.
Thank you so much for listening to my story. Where are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts. And if you'd like to support me, please subscribe. It's free and it helps more people hear these stories.